question to Administrator Mills, and as I look at the data that's been produced by the GAO, and my question, and there have been many of the questions asked that have to do with facts and functionality, but mine is, when in my business life, there were times when I thought working with people that were cheaper was a better business deal. And what I came to the conclusion was I have to work with honorable people, people that I can trust, people that have a culture within their company of having the integrity of knowing where the lines are and not crossing the lines. And that's something that I'm confident I've passed on to the next generation, always to work with ethical people. So there's something within the culture of individuals and companies that tells them that somehow they can rationalize or justify a false presentation to gain an advantage from, well, say, the taxpayers, as is the case here, and an advantage against disabled veterans, as we heard from Mr. Kaufman. And so I'd ask you if you have any or introspective comments you'd like to make to this committee about what you see within the underlying cultures in these companies that have been, that you've discovered were in violation of these standards.
Well, thank you for your insights on this issue around procurement, and have to agree that that is a critical value. We believe that contracting with small businesses provides great benefits not only for small businesses, but also for the taxpayer and the federal agency, because these are some of the most valuable, innovative companies, and you get the attention of the CEO.
But did you think about the cultures in the companies?
Yes. So your point is, there are some bad actors in this. I do want to point out that there are many, many thousands of these companies, and there are many, many good actors in this. And I think your issue is well taken. These are things that I think we can address proactively in our procurement officer training. And I think we'd like to think about your insights that you provided today on how to scope that.
Let me make another point here, and that is in a different subject, in a different committee. There was a GAO investigation, actually it might have been IG, but it showed up that within one category there was 100% fraud in a single category. And when I confronted the agency with that, they said, well, we aren't analysts. We would have to be analysts to know what this is, what caused it, and what to do about it. Is that your position, that you're not analysts? Because I think that it was just pretty simple. It's right up front. And I would think that the culture of the SBA should be, if people are found to be in violation of these standards, it should be an immediate severance of the contract if you have the legal authority to do so. So the second question is, what about the culture of the SBA? What kind of people are looking over the shoulders of those who are, let's say, jumping the fences that are set in place by statute?
The culture of the SBA is that we will not be the agency of fraud, waste, and abuse and mismanagement. We have an aggressive, high, new attitude towards this. It is explicit in one of our priorities.
Thank you. And I turn to Mr. Kurtz and ask if you'd just like to comment on the questions that I've asked Ms. Mills.
Yes, I would. On the first one, your point being, if these firms will lie to us about whether they're service-disabled vet firms, are they going to have other issues? And the answer is yes. And in fact, 2 of these 10 cases we've come across in other fraudulent schemes. For example, one of them was doing trailer maintenance for Katrina and Rita in Louisiana and Mississippi. And we came across them potentially doing false billings for trailer inspections. And so we referred those cases to another organization who raided their office in March of this year. Had they been suspended or debarred, they wouldn't continue to have been allowed to get government contracts. So it's important when they lie to us and they cheat that we do something about it. I agree with Representative Schrader that you can suspend someone without going through a lengthy 3-year process of debarment. And back to the hub zone, none of the 29 companies we've identified that I'm aware of have been debarred yet. None. Now, there's been processes taking place, but it just goes to show you how long that process takes. With respect to SBA, I think SBA has good people. I think the history of SBA has been as an advocacy organization, not an enforcement organization. Therefore, you're not going to have the kind of people necessary that are very good at this. But I would argue if you're going to be an advocate for small business, you need to deal with the integrity of the program. I think today's hearing is a good start.
And to reinforce your point and briefly do so, I would like to think that in the operations that I run today and the operations I've run in my business lifetime, that I had people in place that would identify that at the most local level and send that up the chain with the strongest recommendation that there's the authority there to sever the contracts by the basis of the violation, and that would make it as far up the chain as it needed to deal with this problem, and they should be the ones exposing this, not having to go in with a GAO test. And that's my point. I'd look at the culture, and that's the only thing that can fix it. We can't write enough rules to fix it otherwise. But I thank both the witnesses and appreciate it, Madam Chair, and I yield.